Hi, I'm Keith Allen Sharp, and this is We Go Air. And I wanted to talk about, I live with COPD, and it taught me something amazing. I learned that breathing can be a prayer. And this is We Go Air, where we breathe together, uniting breath, thought, and prayer. Learning to control our breathing and our thoughts and our intentions. And where we turn every inhale into a prayer and every exhale into power. So join me and breathe with me. Now I'm using a notebook because also what I learned with COPD is that part of my illness, it destroyed, not only did it destroy some of my lungs, but I was without oxygen, without the proper amount of oxygen for quite a while. And it turns out, I think I destroyed much of my short-term memory. I mean, I have a hard time. So, notebook. And it works if you're willing to put up with it. And so, anyway, this concept of controlling our breathing and our thoughts, becoming a prayer, I've really been thinking hard about this for quite a while. And ChatGPT and Grok and myself, and along with a couple discussions with real flesh and blood humans, have led me to conclude that the best overall term for this, because I won't say it's brand new, that has never been done before, because I'm positive other people have figured this out about prayer. But the term Aspira vision seems to catch everything in such a way that it catches everything that's important. And when you examine the word, you can really go down to the deepest part of it. So let me explain and give a short demonstration, because this is the other thing that's going on today. I've made several other videos, but I'm realizing that I really need to tighten up what the message is. And so the message is to breathe. I want you to breathe with me. That's the core message. But more than that, that's even deeper than that. That's why we have Aspira vision. Here's how it works. So while I was going through pulmonary rehabilitation therapy, they taught me a simple breathing exercise that turned out to be the most valuable thing I think I've ever learned as far as, breathing and an exercise. It's completely different than what I was taught. I was an athlete when I was younger. They told you to breathe. This is different. They want you to breathe, but you're not filling your chest. That's not the idea. You want to feel your gut, because what's happened with many COPD people, is that we've destroyed the upper airways. I breathed a bunch of stuff over a lifetime, and then I got the COVID. So even though I had COPD before the COVID, when I got the COVID, and I had it for a while, it just destroyed me and my health. It brought me from being someone who could at least function to I was an invalid. And this breathing exercise teaches you to breathe not just up here, but down here as well, which is different from what I was taught growing up. And as an athlete, I was athletic as younger. I was a boxer, a football player, and all that. And so what you do is you breathe in through your nose for a few seconds, and you get a good, fill up your breath, fill it up. And then you breathe it out through pursed lips. That's the secret. You let your chest relax. Just let the natural body tension push out the air, and you regulate it according to how you let it out through pursed lips. And your cheeks become the regulator. And what I like to do, what works well for me, is I breathe in for 5 seconds. And then I exhale for 10 seconds through these pursed lips. And what happens after 2 or 3 sets of that, which only takes, it takes a minute, literally, you enter into an altered state of being. And it's not like you're high or, it's all not all woo-woo and stuff, but no, you're actually observing your body, you're observing your breath, you're observing how you're breathing. And then the thoughts that come across to interfere with your breathing, because after all, you're exercising your breathing. And you don't want to start thinking about, whatever's happening on TV or whatever. That's not what you're there for. And then I realized one day this stuff was bothering me. And then I realized that, hey, wait a minute, I'm observing those thoughts. Those thoughts are not me. They're not me. I'm observing them. Therefore, I'm above those thoughts. And that led into a deeper examination of myself and my conscience and my faith tradition of I consider myself I am a disciple of Christ, but not maybe in the traditional sense. That's a different story. At any rate, it brought me to understand that we have this higher self within us. Personally, I think we're part of, God made mankind in His image. And I think that's the image that's in our minds. I mean, He's there with us. He's part of us. We're part of Him. And that's the part that's not the part that's running around and bothering us. That's the stuff that just gets us in trouble. So we breathe our breath, we control our breath, we bring oxygen into our lungs, we get our oxygen level pumped up and to its maximum. After just only a couple of minutes, you're doing pretty good. You're observing your thoughts. And the Bible talks about when God breathed into Adam and he became a living soul. Well, that's exactly it. When we're breathing in alignment with God's will, we're living souls. We're no longer dead. Those random thoughts, that terrible breathing that we had before, that we destroyed ourselves through smoking cigarettes or breathing paint fumes, however, whatever. We destroyed the breath of life. We destroyed the mind of God. But the beautiful part of it is we can regain it simply by paying attention, being thankful to our Father in heaven, and learning to be thankful. That's the main thing. And so when your breath is in alignment and your thoughts are in alignment, you can make prayer intentions. And Jesus said in more than one place, but my favorite place to remember is in Mark 11:24, where he talks about when you pray believing you have received it, and you've received it. There's none of this waiting around for it to, you're not begging some evil sky god for, little things. That's not what it is. He's our Father, and He wants us to have these things. And guess what? Everything that was created was already created. It's already existing for us. We just simply have to figure out, what process we need to go through to get it. And it's not even that hard, because we don't have to sit here and think about it. No. We align ourselves and just let it happen. And in the meantime, we become healthier. We become stronger. We become worthwhile to the world again. Because one of the side effects from COPD, what happened to me, and I'm positive it happened to so many others, is a feeling of uselessness and hopelessness and desperation and dependence, and it was just such a terrible time. I went from being a healthy, active I was a contractor. I was working with my hands, and I was up and down ladders and scaffolding and just, doing stuff every day. And then now I can't mow the lawn. I can barely walk around the house. Although lately I've been doing, well, since to this exercise I've been doing, I'm just doing so much better. But I had to learn that lesson, and I want to share it with the world, and I want the world to share theirs with me, because I realized too, on top of all of these things I'm talking about, that together we're so much more powerful than only one of us. That reason being, if a thousand of us if 1,000 of us are together, and we're united in learning how to breathe and think and act, we can be a great influence to the world around us, because we all know that after the COVID, the world just went crazy. It went crazy. It went insane, and the only sanity is with God. We can be that spark of sanity that people will just see, because we're going to get better. I can promise you that. We'll just get better. We'll just get better. We'll just get better. And so that's why I'm calling it Aspira vision, because we get a mental vision of our intention. We calm ourselves. We control our breathing. We control our thoughts. We observe ourselves. And we imagine what it's like to acquire whatever our intention is. For instance, the other day, I imagined my goal, my intention, was 1,000 co-breathers, or prayer partners, if you want to call them that. And by making the declaration, by uniting myself with the breath, with the thought, with the intention of God, it's already happened. And so, even though I've got, 14 subscribers on this channel, and I probably have a couple people out in the real world that I've talked with, you could probably count on two hands all the people that potentially could be with me in prayer, co-breathing. But that's what we're able to see. We're anybody, the ocean is made up of a bazillion drops, and we're just a drop of water out here. But it all returns to the ocean, the massive ocean, with, all the oxygen in the world, all the breath in the world, all the thoughts in the world. It's God. It's a metaphor, of course. You get the point. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to set an intention. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to ask you to join with me, pray with me, breathe with me. You can have your own intention. That's the beauty of it. Because if you're struggling with COPD, I know what you feel like. If you have any other kind of a pulmonary or breathing disorder, I invite you to go. This is such a wonderful exercise. You won't believe the benefit you get. You will not believe it. It's the most amazing thing. And I'm going to be getting a visit here in a moment. We'll see. Somebody just pulled into the parking lot. I'm at a church. And so my intention is today, well, let me go, before I go into that, let me explain a little bit. One of my plans was to, and it still is to introduce a subscription model for people who want to breathe with me. We can all be together. We can all enjoy some special treats that the rest of the world, they're invited, they're welcome to have them, but together we're the first comers. So I want to develop a line of hard candies. I'm going to start with peppermint. And I want these peppermint candies to be wrapped in a this little cellophane wrapper or paper with a uplifting message that goes along with the message here. Breathe with me. I don't know. We'll come up with 100 different sayings or more. And I'll wrap each individual candy with this, and there'll be a subscription that goes out maybe once a month. I don't know. We'll figure out the details. But peppermint, because it promotes. We'll start with peppermint because it promotes open airways. It's good. It tastes good. Freshes the breath. It keeps your breath centered when you're out, doing whatever. And I like the idea. But then there's peppermint, and there's sage, and there's thyme, and there's licorice root, and there's other of these herbs that'll make wonderful hard candy. And I can just see a subscription-based candy line with uplifting messages for people. Because when you're down with the COPD, let's say let's say someone who was diagnosed with COPD. I know from experience they're not getting the help they need. They're getting the bare minimum information. They're getting whatever they need just to get them along their way. And even though the people that are telling them all that are well-intentioned, but they get beat up every day because their job is to be the bad news informers. So, the people with COPD, their families and their caregivers and their friends, if they had a little something that could offer, like a piece of peppermint with a saying, maybe it says, I don't know, breathe life, get better. Just something simple, like a fortune cookie. Only it's about breathing. It's about prayer. It's about finding worth in the world. My intention today is 10,000 subscribers to that, and I don't even know how that's going to happen. Don't know how, but you never know. I mean, this is my intention, and it's already happened because it's such a good idea. I'm just certain if I'm not doing it, somebody's already doing it, and that's what's really important. So somewhere, somehow, someone will get it. Yeah, it is someone here that belongs to the church. But anyway, we're going to continue this. We'll see if they let us do it. So we're going to go ahead and watch our breath and our breathing for a moment. So here's the way I do it. I breathe in for 5 seconds, and then I breathe out for 10. I breathe in my entire, as much as I can get in for 5 seconds, and then I let it out within 10 or so. It doesn't have to be right on 10. It can be a little bit more, a little bit less. You might be able to do it. It might be 2 seconds and 4 seconds for you. It might be 10 seconds and 20 seconds for you. We don't know. Everyone is different. Mine happens to be 5 and 10. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate, and we'll go from there. Ready? Inhale for 5 seconds. Sometimes I can just feel I can feel it. I was getting low on my oxygen of all the talking. Anyway, sometimes when I feel stronger, in fact, I have my oximeter right here. Let's see what we got. Sometimes I'll breathe in and I'll hold my breath for like 5 seconds at the top, and then I'll let it out. I'm at 90, I'm safe. 90. Anyway, so I want to breathe in for 5. I'm going to hold for 5 and then exhale for 10. Again. More. Okay, that's how it works. Now you can go at your own speed. I found I do that. I might do it 15 or 20 times a day. And it helps me calm my mind. And it's just a wonderful thing. And I find it's just so beneficial. I'm waiting for my oximeter to tell me what I got here. It's taking its time right now. 96. You see that? Dramatic amount. When I was first diagnosed, I never got over 92, 93. And they were saying that 88 was, that was the part where if you got below 88, you were going to go through organ failure and all this. Anyway, I'm just doing so much better now, simply because I believe it's this exercise. Oh, and then walking. I don't go on frequent walks, but I try to go on walks, decent walks. And so between the breathing and the walking, positive attitude, my prayers being answered, because they're already answered. I'm doing so much better than I was. It's just an incredible thing. And I'm already 22 minutes into this video, and I didn't mean to go that long. But it's time to go back to, I have a sign-off, wherever it went. I don't even know where that went. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, I wanted to remind viewers, we're together on this thing, because we're together as a species. We're together as we're God's creation. We're made in His image. All of us are together. We're all little pieces of a great God, and we're all made in His image. We just need to align ourselves with His mind and His body, and with His purpose for us, because He's experiencing the world through us. It's such an amazing thing. So the call to action is, well, thank you for joining me. And remember that every last breath, every breath is a step along the way. The way is the way of the Lord. And every intention is a prayer. And then we go from air to prayer. We go air. We go air is the name of the channel. And I'm new to this. I'm so new to this, it's ridiculous. I'm just getting started. I'm not sure, we're going to go, because it's funny. Every advice, everything I hear, read, or find out that says, you should have a script. Well, how can that be an authentic script? How can you be talking to someone authentically? How can you be authentic with a script? So what I have is bullet points I want to make, but just, you know, the more importantly, I want to be myself, because I'm made in God's image. So this is how God is in me at this moment in time. And I know it's made to appeal to someone because they're part of God in His image in this moment of time. And I want everyone to get past this COVID thing. Because, you know, society hates each other so much. It doesn't matter if you're good. I mean, it doesn't matter which side you were on. It doesn't matter if you're... All that stuff just does not matter. What matters is that we breathe together. Because we all are on this place. We're on a blue ball in space together. We've got to get along. There's no choice. And you know, this is a good way to get along. We breathe together, we think together, and we come up with common things to do together. I mean, these are the building blocks of civilization, and we can do it. We absolutely can do it, and we can get all the hate and fear and discontent behind us, because that stuff is not needed. We don't need it. It's counterproductive. It's a terrible way to live, and look what it's doing to society. Look what it's doing. Nobody trusts anybody with anything anymore, and we have to get behind that. We have to get away from it. We need trust. Trust must be in society. We have to do it. We have to get past it. This is how. There may be other ways, but this is how I know it'll work. I know it works because I've gotten past. Look. It almost killed me. It almost killed me. And today, I'm thankful for it, because today, all the people that were caught up in the fear and the hate, mostly fear. You know, there's no need to be afraid. There's just no need to be afraid. We can't be afraid. Breathe with me. Breathe with me. And I love you. Thank you for coming.